Hello and welcome to my guide to Yulon. Now, Yulon is one of the new bosses in the Time of Siles, and depending on how your group sort of deals with things, it can be easy or it can be hard. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is talk about the abilities, then I'm going to go through tank, DPS, and healer specific stuff. Not that there really is that much. So first of all, we have Jade Flame Buffet. This does 30k damage to nearby players and gives you a buff which increases your fire damage taken by 5% for a minute. Not really a buff now that I think about it, and this also stacks. The next thing is Jade Fire Breath. This does 300k damage in a frontal cone around the boss. Then we have Jade Fire Bolt. These are targeted at players and they land on the floor, creating a void zone that does 100k damage per second. The final ability is called Jade Fire Wall. Pretty much a big ass wall of fire appears from one side of the room and there's a one gap which you must run through, else you will take 500,000 damage. This can be immune though. Now for tanks, things you need to know. First of all, face the boss away from the raid because you don't want 300k damage going to everybody. It is a 40-yard cone. You also want to kite the boss away from any void zones that appear near the melee group. That's very important at, increasing DPS and stuff because you don't want to be messing around all your melee. Next up for DPS, don't run in front of the boss, that would be a bad idea. Stay out of the void zones and if you're melee, be very careful as it can get quite crowded about just the amount of void zones that can appear. Remember, these void zones are targeted at players, so they can hit you. You also want to run through the gap in the wall, obviously for the Jade Fire Wall. Now next up for healers, the Jade Flame Buffet will cause healing to get a little bit harder through the fight as people will be taking increased damage. You also need to watch out for the void zones, they can target you as well. And if you are quick, you might be able to save players that are hit by the wall, but it just depends on range and that kind of thing. And then of course run through the gap in the wall, and that's really it for the fight. Yulon is quite simple really, and yeah, I don't think there's anything else I really need to mention. For tanks, the 5% increased damage, this could make the Jade Fire Breath an issue if it takes ages to down the fight, but it really shouldn't. Your DPS should be able to kill the boss before that's really even a problem. And that's it for this video. If you liked, please hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.